Hi! So, welcome to probably a long video that's over-explanatory, is that a word? About us and the company that we started and kind of the direction that we're going to be taking now. So obviously we've started Music Lab rolling again in the new year, but we wanted to take this time now to kind of talk a bit more in depth about what the plan is, because we actually have one. Because we've started a proper company.
So the company we have started is called Band DIY, and in case it's not obvious, the Music Lab videos that we create from now on are going to be slightly more catered towards DIY and independent artists. We are still going to cover all the same shit that you've seen before, but we are going to sort of...
We're putting a tilt on it. Like, everything we talk about is going to be also kind of involving DIY. If that makes sense. So if you're talking about band managers, we're also going to talk about how maybe you could do that thing yourself.
And then at what point do you need one?
Yeah, so there's balance there, but we've always kind of talked about how you can do this stuff yourself anyway, because that was kind of the point. We were learning the industry, and we taught you about it with the intentions that you would be able to then enter it and do the things. We're just kind of making a point that is going to be an actual direction of the channel now, which hopefully will have a bit more cohesion with what it is that we actually want to do moving into every single video and the purpose behind it. So it's to inform you, but also inform you on how to do these things, rather than being like, oh, the mainstream music industry works like this. You're probably never going to see it because most people don't. Yeah, there's no point teaching that shit.
It's more about how this stuff is going to benefit you as an independent artist, as opposed to things that aren't going to benefit you because they're never going to concern you, like major labels.
Yeah, and more than ever, we're seeing independent artists, DIY artists, because there's more and more tools becoming available that kind of make the old music industry stuff obsolete. So what better time than now to actually focus on that?
Yeah,
for you and for us.
We are big advocates of doing it yourself and learning how to be a band or an artist yourself and not relying on the traditional music industry, because the traditional music industry doesn't work that well anymore. And now that all these tools are available to put the power in your hands to make your music career what you want it to be, you also need to know how to do it in the best way. And that's what we're going to teach you.
Yep, so that's kind of the plan for Music Lab, but we're also taking that elsewhere. So we're in the midst of producing and writing some Skillshare courses. So you'll be aware of Skillshare, probably, because
they sponsor everything on YouTube.
So you're probably already aware of it. Most people don't mention this. There is like a free version of Skillshare where you don't have to like pay for it or use the free trial or any of that bollocks. It just has adverts, and there's also, I believe, like free Skillshare courses that like creators will set to the free version so anyone can see it. Yeah, we're going to be making some courses on that. At no point are we going to restrict information that we put on the Music Lab YouTube channel because we're making Skillshare courses. We're just tilting it a little bit. So whereas here we are trying to do, here's how you can be DIY, here's how you can use this stuff for yourself. The Skillshare courses are going to be closer to, here's how this stuff works in the industry, and we'll leave it at that, but we go into more detail. So, as an example, the first one that we're doing is how the music industry works, and we go way deeper into how the finances of you running a band in the industry would work. There's more detail in there than we would ever put on YouTube, because it would bore the shit out of people, whereas on Skillshare, it's kind of the point to give all the information. So when the Skillshare courses are out, there will be a link in the description and probably one at the top of the video if YouTube lets me. Yeah, check them out if they're out. If they're not, I guess you're just going to have to wait.
So alongside all this video related content that we are going to be making, we are also in the process of writing and releasing a book. The working title for this book is 99 Tips on How to Release Your Debut Single or something like that. That may change, it probably will change. So this book is going to cover everything involved with writing and releasing a song. This book is going to be catered towards pretty much everything to do with writing and releasing a song. It's going to cover the writing process, it's going to cover the recording process, the general production, music videos, and then like release scheduling and things like that. and we hope it will be informative. We're not sure yet when that's going to be finished. We will let you know. You can actually head over to our site now and click, what is it?
Something along with lines of like keep me updated, where you can basically just join the mailing list specifically for the book, so any updates on the book will be emailed to you.
And alongside this, we are planning on doing more books in the future, depending on how we feel about the way this one comes out. Potentially we might cover a range of subjects in the music industry, not just about writing and releasing, but whatever we feel like we have the knowledge to explain in the same detail as we are doing with this book, we will also do a book for.
Speaking of like how we're kind of explaining the things, because we're doing the 99 tips, or like whether we call the book that or not, that's kind of the idea behind it. I guess it's supposed to be the kind of book that you don't necessarily just sit down and read all of it.
No.
It's more of, okay, we're at this stage in the thing. Let's see if there's any tips in here that will kind of help us out, because it's kind of going to be a journey with you. So it's more of, I guess, like a handbook that you can keep referring back to, as opposed to read it and then leave it alone. It's not a story of things. It's, you're making some artwork, here's a few tips on what you could do with that artwork to make it good, or how you can do it yourself, or whatever. So any stage that you yourself are at as a DIY artist in the music creation and release process, there will be some tips in the book for you.
As we've said, we haven't finished writing this book yet. We will keep you updated as and when that happens.
And we will make a big song and dance on this channel when that becomes a thing that you can either pre-order or buy or whatever. So don't worry about missing out on it. It's kind of like a cool, interesting step, because we started this channel, 7 years ago? Yeah, it's been a while, and it's kind of always just been the YouTube channel that we release weekly videos on, and it's gone really well. We're at like 18,500 subscribers, over 1.5 million views, which is awesome. Thank you so much. So it kind of got to the point where we were like, right, we should probably do more stuff and take this not necessarily more seriously. At no point were we kind of pissing around with it, but
I don't know.
We're at the stage where we're going, right, let's do this properly now. Let's make it a company. Let's do some extra music education things, like the book, like the Skillshare courses, but also like stick to our roots of doing the Music Lab YouTube channel, which is having very little change other than we're focusing on DIY a little bit more than we normally would, and in theory it looks a little bit nicer, which hopefully you've noticed in the past few videos.
We have a new set as well. It's quite nice.
Yeah, so why not shout the guy out? So we're shooting at Toolmaker's recording studio in Sheffield. Looks fucking great. So we're renting it like sporadically to shoot here, and yeah, it's real good. Hopefully it has helped the production value of the channel rise a little bit, which was always something that we wanted to do, and coinciding that with the reboot into Music Lab 3.0, as we are currently now in, felt right. Hopefully you've noticed, hopefully it's something that you dig, hopefully the quality of the videos will match. Yeah, no, we've got like loads of ideas now for all the stuff that we want to do. There's slightly more bigger projects that we want to do, so I don't want to tell you what, just because I don't want you to get excited, and if it's shit, we'll never release it. But we've got some kind of bigger project ideas. So where previously we've had the main series is where it's like becoming a band or sharpening your songwriting or whatever, we now want to do little projects where kind of like odd mini-series that we've done in the past, where we kind of focus in on one thing, blitz it, like have a few episodes on it, and then leave it alone for a bit. That, but with a bit more production value and sexiness in it, is kind of what we're aiming for, but I get I'm being vague. That's on purpose. You will find out about them when they get released. But for now, we're just doing Music Lab stuff. We're releasing videos weekly on Saturdays, back like we used to. We're doing books. We're doing Skillshare courses. There's new social media stuff. So we've got a new Twitter for the company. We've got a new Facebook page for the company. We've got a subreddit that I don't want to say is for the company, because it's supposed to be more of a DIY music hub. People that aren't involved with us too specifically could be involved in that subreddit without ever knowing us, and that's cool. So if you want to be part of kind of a DIY community that's ran by us, head over to the subreddit That's r/banddIY. Get involved there. We want to do loads of cool, interesting stuff with you there.
Anything that's sort of generally music industry related or about being a DIY artist, if you have any stories about that, then feel free to put them in there. And hopefully it can become a place where we can all share ideas and bounce things off each other and all improve in some way.
It needs to be like a place where we get inspired and we share stories and we argue about the things that are relevant to argue about.
Yeah, I think the reason why we're doing it on Reddit is because with other social medias it can get very sort of petty and shit very quickly. So
and the other social medias rely on the content creator to host it all. Whereas a subreddit, you can go and post in the subreddit right this second. And that's cool. You can't post on our Facebook page, you can't post on our Twitter, but you can post on the subreddit, which is kind of the place to do that. So please go join that. If you want to ignore the Twitter and the Facebook, fine. The subreddit is where we really want your attention. And here, obviously, on YouTube, but in theory you're already here.
Okay, so that's pretty much everything. We are taking this seriously now. We hope it will continue to grow and improve. We are very thankful for all the attention and subscribers that we've got. It's kind of overwhelming, like we didn't really expect it when we started, and we hope that our continued development of what we do now as a company will reward that. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. And we'll see you on Saturday.